I'm Michaela Delgado.
And I'm Matt Fisher.
And you're listening to Artist Amplifier.
Every time.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Matt,
Yeah.
let's
I
hear
do it now. Okay.
WRHU.
All right, welcome back to Artist Amplifier. My name's Michaela Delgado.
And I'm Matt Fisher. And today we're joined by Micah Lim, Micah, what's your artist name again?
Micah Lim.
Used to be Mellow Yellow, right?
Yes, used to be formerly known, but about a year and a half ago now, I changed it. So, we're rocking with just the government name now.
Okay, so what inspired the change?
So the change came for my album that I released in May 2024. And I hadn't released any full-length project since, I believe, January 2022. And so much time had passed, and I felt like I was transitioning into a new part of my life, new stage of life, especially about to go into college. And I was like, I feel like I'm due for a change. And I was like, why not just change to my actual name? Because I felt like I was kind of growing into myself more at that time. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. It's time for a change.
Yeah. I noticed that you don't have any project up before 2024, so you did a full restart there.
Yes. So the old page for Mellow Yellow is still up. So
gotcha.
If anyone wants to go dig for that stuff, which it is low-key easy to find, you can still listen to that stuff there. But I was like, I really want to separate my old stuff from my new stuff and just kind of keep it like that, real fresh start.
Yeah, well, speaking of, a fresh start and just your start in general, how did you get involved in music making?
Okay, do you want the long, short, mid?
Medium story.
Medium,
Okay, I got you. All right, so we'll just go step by step. Basically, in 5th grade is when I started picking up on hip hop music, and we had a poetry class in my ELA class when I was in 5th grade, and my teacher was very encouraging. And so when we were doing our poetry class, I just was able to a natural inclination to rhyme words and stuff like that. And so once that kind of get it going, and I kept listening more and more music, my middle school is where I started actually making music. And that's when, it was probably around 2016 to 2018 time is when we started going into middle school. And so that's when all the Atlanta trap music was booming. And so that had a huge impact on me. And so after that, just kept making music. Took it really seriously once COVID hit. Because once COVID hit, all I had was basketball and music. That's literally all I would do every day. And so as that kept picking up, I knew my music was buns. So I knew that up until all middle school, I was making some really music. But once I got to that project that I was talking about in January 2022, I was like, okay, I'm starting to put things together. I'm starting to collaborate more with people. I'm starting to find my identity as an artist, and also just having art become an essential to me as an outlet. Once I had that all figured out, I was like, okay, maybe it's time to really think about doing this professionally, potentially, or just kind of see where it takes me. And so after a couple very important conversations I had with some of my mentors and fellow producers, there was all the signs were pointing towards hey, let's just go for it now. You're still really young. You have room to mess up. Let's start making mistakes now. And once I did the brand change in summer 2024, as we now Micah Lim, as everything got rebranded, that's when I was fully 10 toes in, no halfway in, halfway out. That's when I started really getting to music. So more than it being something a musical aspect, it was really a personal thing that caused me to go into music just as an outlet, and just because I know I love it and I know that I can help other people with it.
Yeah, definitely. I like the way you put it too. Kind of when I did my own research on you, Atlanta and hip hop trap music is the biggest thing. I mean, just so many different rappers and everything come out of there, and people in New York. There's been producers that I met here that are yeah, I'm looking to make that change and moving out to Atlanta. So I guess if you want to speak to your specific inspirations in Atlanta and in that scene, I'm really curious.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I didn't grow up in Atlanta. I grew up in Roswell, which is about 30 minutes north of Atlanta. Shout out Roswell.
Shout out Roswell.
And so I wasn't necessarily super tapped into the scene physically, but just being in the vicinity, and you kind of see artists will have their location listed, or they'll just be shouting it out in their songs and stuff. And so once I heard that, it kind of started developing like my own pride and passion for the city. But honestly, for me, it goes much deeper than music. Like, I kind of mentioned earlier that in COVID, all I did was like play basketball and do music. And basketball and sports had a really big impact on me in terms of kind of really owning being from Georgia, being from Atlanta. And so it was kind of a combination musically and locationally, and sports, just all the culture kind of just started making sense to me. It felt like something I could identify with. And so that was really why I decided to go into it, was because just Atlanta felt like home. It started to really feel like home. And through that's why I kind of started developing that brand identity too. I don't know if you guys saw but my brand is like Atlanta, South Korea. And so that is 50% of like what my identity is as a person and an artist, I believe.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that. You too take a lot of pride in your Atlanta identity, but you also talk a lot about being Korean American in your music.
Yes.
How does that influence your sound?
I mean, it's everything to me, you know? I think, but it's really more than, how can I mash up like Atlanta and Korea in my music? It's more so the identity as what we call like third culture. So someone who doesn't, like, I don't fit in Korea. Like, I don't really speak Korean that much. Everyone dresses a different way, right? And then I don't necessarily like fit in completely into Atlanta either, because I mean, we have a decent Korean population, but it's not like, just you're not gonna like have a class with a Korean, like give or take on every class that you get into, right? So it's, instead of it being Atlanta and Korea and combining those identities, it's more so, hey, like I'm in a unique position where I'm kind of a melting pot, a little mixer of all these different cultures, different subcultures, and how can I express that aspect in my own music? And so instead of it being specifically those, it's more so I'm like a sponge when it comes to taking inspiration from different types of music. Like one of the things I do is I keep a log of what albums I listen to throughout the year. So, and I do like a ranking of them at the end of the year. I listen to like everything: country, Afro, hip hop, rock, like you name it, I probably listen to it. And if I haven't, then I want to listen to it. And so really my music is just a culmination of all these different influences, hopefully that produce something that's unique and that kind of fills a gap in the music industry that I think other people would be interested in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on the topic of producing, do you want to tell me a little bit about your history in producing and which tracks you've done and which ones have been more collaborative and all that?
Yeah, so production, okay, I've always wanted to be only like a rapper, right? Because rapping is fun and I love writing lyrics. Like my main thing is lyrics. That is my bread and butter. I think that's what I'm best at, and I think that's my favorite thing to do. However, when you are like a broke middle schooler and and you're making like not good music and you need production, the only place that you can look to for production is yourself. So I took it on myself to learn all the aspects of production, and now it's one of the things that personally defines my own music. And it is where I feel like I can be more creative in terms of exploring my identity, in terms of like the Atlanta, South Korea identity, just because there's only so much I can do in my lyrics. The sound is also what captures people's attention. So basically I've been producing as long as I've been writing. It's been something that I've changed a lot throughout the years, and now more specifically I'm a sample-based artist. So whether that's creating my own samples and resampling them, or digging through like records, and that's also where I love digging through old Korean records just to really establish my heritage and my music. That's pretty much like my entire thing with production right now. And so I think another good part of it is that sometimes when you're communicating with other producers, it's hard to capture what the vision that you want is. So sometimes I feel like the only way that I can capture and put down what I want to hear is if I do it myself. And so that's also another reason why I wanted to keep producing. That's kind of just my background there.
It's awesome. Well, speaking of you and your sound and your lyrics, we want to kind of hop in some of the music you want us to show off here. Micah, what's the first song you want to share with the listeners today?
Let's see. I feel like this was the intro track off of my intro album when I rebranded. So I feel like why not start with Angels? I think that's a good one to start off with.
Gotcha. All right, well, listeners, this is Angels Intro by Micah Lim.
Yeah. 4 years since the sunflower, it's been 2 since Atlanta, South Korea. I guess I need some time to write my thoughts in fear. The visions, they come back and raise my fever. I'm home alone, thinking that the end is getting near, the fall off getting steeper. I'm tired of being the sleeper, but my progress is meek. Narcoleptic doorsteps and my head is level with my feet. Subterranean dips, they can't reach me overseas. They think I'm smoking, but emotions are what's causing me to wheeze. I'm hungry to win, more so hungry to breathe. This is ATO Griselda mixed with Korean need for speed. I get some schizophrenic now, I got the angels pouring out. Soju dripping from my eyes as I say heavy is the crown. Heavy is the crown.
And yeah, that was Angels Intro by Micah Lim, everybody. Michaela, I loved it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to your production style and kind of hearing those influences. We kind of wanted to get more into what you're up to right now, where you're at in your life, and just a little bit about how music integrates into your life.
I think off the top of my head is kind of my release schedule for 2025. I did a mixtape in the end of the school year, end of last semester. So that was like late April, early May. And that was kind of my like freshman year project. So I did the mixtape there. It was like an 8-song mixtape. And then I did a bunch of singles in the summer. And then I did an EP at the end of summer. So I have those 3 checked off. And there's like the elephant in the room is just, where's the album? So that's what I'm working on right now. Originally, I wanted to like really hustle it out for before 2025 ended. But I think what I'm going to do is probably end up doing like another small EP before that and then doing a full rollout for it that's completely prepared in probably winter of 2026. And I'm really looking forward to this because I think I'm finally at a point in my musical career where things are kind of lining up. And I think I'm getting to the point where I'm like very confident in my musical abilities now. Still humble, but confident, you know? And so I'm really looking forward to that drop. But personally, I'm in my sophomore year now at Georgia Tech. It's been great because I'm done with all my gen ed classes. So I'm really locked in on music classes and business classes. So I'm a dual major there. So music technology and business marketing. So I'm really getting into that now. And it's been great because I'm actually learning what I want to learn.
That's good. That's good. And I know we're talking about your production, but I want to go back to your identity for a little bit. Do you feel like, as you know, you pride yourself in being Asian American, but you're also in the rap space. So do you feel like there's enough Asian American representation in the rap space right now, or is there room for it to really grow?
I think this is always I don't know if I want to say touchy, but a topic that I always carry a lot of weight in. As Asian Americans, we are culturally, in terms of our identities, we are outsiders when it comes to hip hop. Hip hop is rooted in Black culture. And so whenever we step into a scene that technically isn't built on our identity, it is something that I do take like not lightly at all. And I always leave it with a lot of respect. I think that, yes, of course, I do want to see more Asian American representation within the scene because I think as an outlet and as an art form, there is so much that as minority groups in America that we share in common. And I think that is a common ground that, and this is a medium that we can really share our stories together. However, I do understand that in some ways, that us stepping into the scene can be seen as appropriation and kind of just like we're trying to take from it and that we're not giving much to it. So for personally, I always try and make sure that whatever dues I have, that I am paying my dues. I am like really understanding what it means to be an Asian American in the hip hop scene. And so although I do want more Asian Americans to come into the scene, I don't know. It's hard to control the fact that who's going to respect the culture, who's not, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Kind of like making sure to enjoy the culture, but also giving credit where credit's due.
Yes, exactly. And like just understanding, treat it like a history class sometimes. Like, do your research, understand who came before you and who laid the path. Even other like Korean American, like personally, like Korean American people who have led the way for me to be able to step into the scene. That is something that's so important in my opinion.
Who are those people, if you don't mind?
You can go way back. So like some will say The Godfather is MC Jin. Some would say Year of the Ox. For me, my personal trio that I say I like kind of look up to and kind of follow in the footsteps are is Sam Ock, who recently produced my my EP Miso that just came out. James Han, Sam Ock, and then he's not necessarily involved as much now, but John Song has really paved the way, especially in Atlanta, for Asian Americans and Korean Americans in general there. So those are some of the names that you will hear when talking about Korean Americans hip hop, especially.
Definitely. Personally, I'm a music business major, and I heard you speaking of like things like release schedules and strategy and all of these very strong buzzwords in the industry, in the music industry. How do you feel that your majors kind of help and lend itself to each other, and how do you see yourself marketed?
Yeah. So music technology for me is, there's a common misconception for people who do know the major, which is like very few anyways, but there's a common misconception that music technology is equivalent to production, and it is not. It's much more hardware, software focused. So it's very technical, as the name implies. And so it is kind of semi-removed from what I do as a musician. And one of the things coming into college, was that I didn't want to study something and have that kill my passion for it. So music technology is a way that I can still amplify my knowledge as a musician without overlapping too much with my music itself. And that's been really good to just keep them kind of separated. That way I'm still locked in creatively, but also gaining my knowledge through that. And then the other major, which is business marketing, is so important as independent artists nowadays. The door is wide open for anyone to become a musician, right? Anyone to market themselves. But the issue is that a lot of artists get, especially independent artists and ones who haven't had much experience, is that they get very taken advantage of easily or don't know how to promote themselves in the current scene. And so that's why I really wanted to double down on my knowledge within the business scene, because all artists, if you're independent, or even if you're not independent, if you're signed, you need to have some idea of what goes on in the industry, which in my opinion is the majority of what happens in the music industry.
Well, on that, I think it's time for another little musical break. Micah, what's the next song you got for us?
Let's do something off the new project. Let's go with New Wave for this one.
All right, bet. This is New Wave by Micah Lim.
I'm on a new wave, baby, this is not Depeche Mode. Pull up like I'm Rocky on, I'm trying to get my peso. Caitlin from the logo, autopilot Waymo. It's crowded in the paint, I can't make it if I stay low. It's a new wave, baby, this is not Depeche Mode. Pull up like I'm Rocky on, I'm trying to get my peso. Caitlin from the logo, autopilot Waymo. It's crowded in the paint, I can't make it if I stay low. Drop dog, pocket spot, block hot, they screaming like not again. When I'm on, can't stop, stove tops, I'ma take them to Neverland. Rice in the pot, I'm like Uncle Ben. Who cooking this beat, I'm like Uncle Sam. What you got in your feet, I'm like Salaman. We could take it, I said I got hand to hand. Eyes closed, like a happenstance. A lot of these girls never had a chance. She like, babe, what you doing, got better plans. I got better stands in a couple of bands. Get on my soul from the motherland. Hot pot, got it with the tryptophan. Always in a rush, like I'm Ricky Tan. And I'm fighting back, like I'm Jackie Chan. Still trying to find my mind, still trying to find these signs. If I had the option to make a meal a day, I probably would hit decline. Thoughts got you out of time, shut up and read your lines. Proceed with caution if you feel away. I'm on a new wave, baby, this is not Depeche Mode. Pull up like I'm Rocky on, I'm trying to get my peso. Caitlin from the logo, autopilot Waymo. It's crowded in the paint, I can't make it if I stay low. It's a new wave, baby, this is not Depeche Mode. Pull up like I'm Rocky on, I'm trying to get my peso. Caitlin from the logo, autopilot Waymo. It's crowded in the paint, I can't make it if I stay low. I needed the Occupy, triple digits in the DMV, huh? No, I ain't going outside today. Young boy catching double-doubles, feeling scripted like we in the NBA. I know a girl that was so fake, man, she tried to pull up with the NDA. It gave me the hunger to push forward, so I'm cooking it up like I'm in the Fae. They want me to demonstrate, yeah, but I cannot imitate the way that I carry the iron stick. You think it's the PGA, I'm trying to alleviate the pain. It's never the easy way, that's how you lead astray. Still trying to find my mind, still trying to find these signs. If I had the option to make a meal a day, I probably would hit decline. Thoughts got you out of time, shut up and read your lines. Proceed with caution if you feel away. I'm on a new wave, baby, this is not the Depeche Mode. Pull up like a Rocky out, I'm trying to get my peso. Caitlin from the logo, autopilot Waymo. It's crowded in the paint, I can't make it if I stay low.
All right, Matt, that was New Wave by Micah Lim.
And I feel like a new man after that. So getting the ball rolling here, where do you start with music?
Okay, at the start, it was always, let me get a beat first. Let me make a beat, and then I'll figure out what to write from there, because the rhythm is built off the beat, obviously. But nowadays, what I've been doing is, because I listen to so much music, there'll be certain like instrumental bits or pieces of songs that I'm just listening to. I'm like, I really like that rhythm, or I like that cadence a lot. And so from there, I won't like put it on repeat. I'll just start thinking of lines that could kind of adjust to that emotion. So nowadays, what I do, when I'm walking to class or whenever I have an idea, I'll just open my phone. I have a docs that's just labeled like lyrics and ideas. I'll just write lyrics there, and then I'll take it home, forget about it, open it up again when I'm trying to make some music, and I'll keep writing to whatever cadence that it was there. And usually that turns into a song, and that's been my flow lately. So it's very, very flowy, I guess is a good word for it. Yeah.
So you say inspiration strikes when you're walking to class or just walking around. Like, what things have you seen to inspire song lyrics?
Your best ideas and your most personal ideas will come when you have no outside distractions. And when no outside distractions, I think of my phone. I think of other music. So a lot of it is like I'm trying actually to step away from listening to so much music so that I can kind of generate an original idea for once, you know? And so really, like when I'm on these walks and stuff, I'm trying to separate myself from everything around me, but at the same time, it's a way for me to like process all of my emotions and all of these current events that have been going on. So I think it's just more of like a means of taking whatever I'm feeling and actually digesting that for a little bit, sitting with that while it's just me and like, I want to say nature, but it's the city. Me and like my like just physical environment without any like phone, digital distractions there, and taking those lyrics or taking those ideas and thoughts that I'm having and really converting them to lyrics.
It's interesting to hear that your lyricism has adapted in that specific way, because I originally thought going into it that rappers and hip hop people usually do start with the beat. So it's interesting to start the other way around as well. And do you have any inspirations when it comes to your lyricism?
In my junior year in high school, I took AP Latin. And so in AP Latin, we studied Caesar, but we also studied the Aeneid, which is by Virgil. And through that, you always learn like similes, metaphors, different pieces of writing. But through the Aeneid, we were able to like dissect line by line and discover all of the cool intricacies that Virgil had within his poetry. And so for me, poetry is more used as a technical aspect for my work. It's not like I try not to structure it as poems. I try to structure it as narrative first, and then using poetic techniques to create a better song in that aspect. But in terms of like where the lyricism inspiration comes from, it is all basically like personal experiences. So my goal as a rapper is to somehow translate what I'm feeling and make it relatable to specifically people who are in similar positions, but also have enough creative bandwidth where anyone who's listening can somehow like get something from it.
All right. Well, it's been great hearing you, and I really want to go further into your last song for today. This is my personal favorite. I listened to it before. I love the integration of the bass and guitar and whatever DAWs you have up there. If you want to speak a little bit about this last one before we play it.
Yeah, so this was part of the project that I released actually right after that concert that I had with Matt. But this was just like the first EP that I had after my first album under Micah Lim. It was just a way, like that first album was just all that stress from the previous 2 years of not releasing any music out there. And so once I did that, I was like so creatively free. And so this was the first project that came about from that. It was a 4-song EP made in 1 week exactly. Had a great crew to work along with it. Shout out Ava and Amalia there. But yeah, so I hope you guys can hear like the freedom in this song and just kind of the fun that I was having with music at the time. Yeah.
Okay. So while I'm in the airplane over the sea, I'm working OT, performing soliloquies, asking myself, is this what you want me to be? A copy of a couple of rappers that made it from out of the east. Look at the growth, the glance of the bread, you know there's some yeast. Yet no one seems to bat an eye, people satisfied by the least. Gratified, cover ears, it's an alibi for the weak. Side to side, I see the hands and I'm mortified. I'm pissed off, let the track ride. I'ma need a drink once it's past 9. Who am I?
I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV. I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV. Got the whole club jumping, now it's just a drink. I'm just dreaming, sipping. I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV. I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV.
Muffled screams from the underground deafening, taking the scraps, we get them in dividends. Auntie Gina said, screw it, we limitless. This is my name, I'll take it and get a win. Iced coffee in my hand, hot chocolate, it depends. Basquiat in my head, I'm just writing for the dead. Clues that still comprehend, pulling the sick from the hip. Quick draw, I don't miss, metaphor sending like a clip. I'm just rhyming till I can't, I'm just rapping till I miss. Trying to make a living off of this, all in, I can't quit. Legs weak, I don't sit, hungry and ready to win, but I think it's just time for a sip.
I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV. I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV. Got the whole club jumping, now it's just a dream. I'm just dreaming, sipping. I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV. I'm just sipping A&W while watching my TV. Got the whole club jumping, now it's just a dream. I'm just dreaming, sipping.
And that was Yeast by Micah Lim. Micah, you were such a pleasure to speak to today. You're so well spoken.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I mean, the pleasure is all mine. I think we said before off the record, but I want to say on the record, this is officially my first interview since I've changed my name to Micah Lim. So thank you guys so much for having that trust in me and placing that bet on me this early on.
Of course.
I love it. And I am excited to see what else you have in store for us.
For sure. More things coming very soon.
Amazing. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Artist Amplifier.
Wait, real quick.
Oh, wait, I forgot.
What's your...
We do this every time.
Where are you? Where can the listeners find you again? All that, the ats and the everything.
You can find me walking in the streets of Midtown, but you can find me at Micah Lim on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to music on. I'm most active on YouTube, so definitely go check that out at Micah Lim Music there. And on Instagram, at The Only Mellow Yellow. But yes, that should be it.
All right, gotcha. Now I do it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I do it now. Okay, listeners, this has been this week's edition of Artist Amplifier. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Still trying to find my mind, still trying to find these signs. If I had the option to make a meal a day, I probably would hit decline. thoughts got you out of time. Shut up and read your lines. Proceed with caution if you feel away. I'm on a new wave. Baby, this is not Depeche Mode. Pull up like I'm Rocky on. I'm trying to get my peso. Kaylin from the logo. Autopilot Waymo. It's crowded in the paint. I can't make it if I stay low. It's a new wave. Baby, this is not Depeche Mode. Pull up like I'm Rocky on. I'm trying to get my peso. Kaylin from the logo. Autopilot Waymo. It's crowded in the paint. I can't make it if I stay low. I needed to argue, triple